Okay, so just to go over again how to render out your movie out of After Effects, because obviously that's how you're going to turn your stuff in. So let's say I've got my completed piece. Hit spacebar. Oh, not again. Stop that. Oh, I hate when it does that. And I've got my movie down. I'm like, okay, that's what I want. Got everything set, excluding the little error it keeps giving me. So what I would do is you go up to Composition, and there's a few options in here, but one of them is I can say Add to Render Queue, which is also Control M. Okay. So Add to Render View. And what it does is it opens this up at the bottom. And it gives me, this is like the second one because I did it before, but doing it again. So that's why this one is grayed out. Down here it says, oh, this one is done. This one is queued. It's the one I just set up. Make sure when you go to render your movie out that you are in the composition that you want to render out. So you might have like 5, 10 different compositions, but whatever that primary, the main composition where everything is inside of is, that's the one you want to be in when you say Add to Render Queue. Okay. So now I have render settings, output module, and output 2. So best settings is what we want on the render settings. So we want best full resolution, and that's pretty much set. Usually don't really have to do much with this guy at all, as long as it's set to best settings. Lossless. This is the important one where we decide what format we want to save this out as. And if I click here, I can save it out as AVI, image sequences, extract the sound to an MP3 or a WAV file, QuickTime movie, etc., etc. So typically the two ways that you extract a movie are AVI and QuickTime, right? And as you know, AVI is the Windows format, QuickTime is the Mac format, but Windows has a better time reading QuickTime movies than Macs have of AVIs, depends. But I'm trying to remember VoiceThread, I believe QuickTime movies is the deal. It does not, if I recall, it's not fond of certain codecs, and I don't think it's awesome with AVIs. So we're just going to say QuickTime.
What kind of file do you think would be best for my laptop? Because this is a PC.
It's not for your laptop. It's just for what it's going to be viewed on. So in this particular case, you're going to spit out. We're going to spit out a QuickTime movie. So I choose the format QuickTime, and then under Video Output, there's Format Options. And what it's asking me here is what codec I want to actually use, and what quality do I want it to compress to. Okay, so once again, look at this for a second. Actually, I'm going to close this up. Look at all the codecs that I have on my machine right now. Huh? Yeah, well, here's the funny part. The codecs are under, I chose a QuickTime format under the outputs, and then format options under video output, this little blue button right here. And then that pulls up a window that says video or audio, and it's asking me how do I want to compress the video and audio. And then under video codec, there's the list. Did everybody find that, or do you need help? You guys cool? All good?
I haven't come up with this yet. So under the menu, where do I find it?
Okay, so with my codecs, it's asking me, how do I want to compress my video? How do I want to compress my audio? We're doing a very short video. It's high resolution, but it's short. H.264 is a really good one. It really depends on what your output is. For us, I believe H.264 is the one that works fine. So I'm going to use H.264 quality 100%. Audio. Sometimes I will use MPEG-4. So if I have sound in there and I want to like shrink the audio down a bit, I'll use MPEG-4. If you try uploading to VoiceThread, because I know it's a little finicky and it doesn't like it, just use uncompressed. Once again, we're doing a very short video, so it should not be phenomenally huge, just for a few seconds. If you're doing like minutes, then yeah, it can get huge.
Okay, so can we go back? I'm not finding the H.264. I see the list where it says QuickTime.
So you want format options after you've chosen QuickTime. So choose QuickTime, and then right below it under video output, format options. And then you click on the video codec right there.
What was the first step? We go into composition, right?
Huh?
We go into composition, the first step.
Yeah, you go into the composition you want to render out.
Alright.
So your main one that has all the stuff in it.
Is it the DVC line H.264?
I am just, it depends. So here's the other thing. Depending on your machine and what you have installed on it, you will have more or less actual
Yeah, I don't
codecs.
feel like I have a lot. Can you come take a glance here and see
Hold
what I've
on
got?
one sec. When you guys are installing stuff on your own personal computers, when you see certain things missing, a lot of times you don't realize all the things that are being loaded in the background, or things that actually you load up and do other things with it. If you install DivX, that will install some codecs for you. If you, so it's a DivX player. Also, VLC, which is a media player which plays almost everything, and that will install some stuff for you to view different things and also do some stuff. But my suggestion is, let me just make sure. That if you haven't, getting the QuickTime download. Now, here's the funny thing. It's kind of weird. You have to get the older version of QuickTime for Windows, but it will give you that stuff. So I always have it, and ages ago I bought like the Pro version, which they don't even sell anymore. But yeah, if you go and just download and get the older version of QuickTime, and we see it here, you can actually go, it's on downloads, and do a search QuickTime Windows and get one of these. I think 7.79 is the most recent one. Then you'll also get, now I'm on a Windows machine. If you're on a Mac, then just make sure you have QuickTime installed, which it should be, or the most recent version. But that's just something to consider.
So you want us to download the 7.79?
If you don't have it on your machine and you're on a PC, I would suggest it. But for right now, moving on along, those guys who don't have H.264, just use the one that I showed you. I'm going to hit OK. Make sure audio is turned on at the bottom. Yes, if you're using audio, which you should. Hit OK. And then where it says output to, that's where you would name your file. You just click on that and you would name it and tell it where you want to save it to. And once that's all done, and you have that one selected, the one that's queued in your render queue, just hit the button to the right that says render. Yes, we'll overwrite it. And this blue bar going across, you can see it plowing through as it runs through, and it's saving and rendering out my movie. I had my volume down, but it... Oh, man. But it did this nice little bring, little sound.
That fixed it. I found the correct pronouns now.
Excellent.
Oh, wait, no. I thought I found it.
But check it out now. I've got my movie. It's 16 megs. Not gigs, but megs. And I don't mean the shut up megs. So now we got this. See? And there's my movie. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that render, QuickTime didn't open that render. Like, which of the files?
So our movie's all done, it's all tested, and that is it.